Hi yogis, thank you for joining me for class today. My name is Leah. In this class, we'll be doing a floor flow that will lead us into a yin practice. Combining a floor flow with yin is to balance out the masculine and feminine energies within the body, to balance out the heat and the coolness within the body. We're going to begin today's class with a seated meditation. You can use your meditation cushion, a folded blanket, or a block here, placing it evenly underneath the hips to create equal weight distribution under your sits bones. We're going to apply a hand mudra that serves to balance out the doshas. In Ayurvedic medicine, there are 3 doshas or qualities that impact how our bodies function. There are 3 called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Most of the time, we each generally fall into one more predominantly than the others. However, each and every one of us have characteristics of all 3 within our body. This particular hand mudra that we're going to do today is intended to balance out all 3 doshas in the body. Take your pointer finger and wrap it into your thumb so it looks like this. And then take your thumb and press it against your 2 center fingers, your middle finger and your ring finger, and then leave your pinky extended outward and apply the same positioning for the other hand. We're gonna have our hands rest on our knees, elbows are straight, and we're gonna close our eyes and bring our attention in between the brow point, that third eye center. Allowing ourselves to breathe naturally in through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Noticing how our spine is situated, maybe pulling a little bit forward with the sternum to erect our posture, but allowing ourselves to root into this experience. If at any point your thoughts become a distraction, bring your attention to the quality of your breath. Draw your next inhale all the way into the belly and hold at the top. Exhale through the nose, empty out, squeeze the abdomen, hold empty at the bottom. Deep inhale all the way into your belly, hold. Exhale, empty out, squeeze the abdomen, hold empty. One last inhale in, holding at the top. And exhale, empty out. Hold empty at the bottom. Return your breath to normal and flip your eyelids open. Allow your hands to relax. We're gonna move into our flow here. You can stay on your prop at this time. Begin by taking your hands together and interlacing the last 3 fingers, keeping your pointer fingers out, creating an arrow mudra, crossing left finger over right thumb, and then draw your fingers up toward the sky above you, straightening your elbows, but dropping the shoulder blades down the back, pulling navel toward your spine. Take a deep inhale here. And exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale, side bend to the left side, finding length in the right side body, rooting down with the right hip. Drawing that right shoulder back towards the wall behind you. Inhale here. And exhale a little bit deeper. Inhale back to center. Reach your fingertips up. Inhale. And exhale, side bend to the right. Drawing that left shoulder back towards the wall behind you. Keeping your chest framing toward the front of the room. Inhale deeply. Exhale, bend a little bit deeper. Inhale, and exhale back to center. Remove the grip of your hands and place your hands on top of your elbows and draw your chest between your shoulders. Reach your elbows back behind you. Pull navel toward your spine. We're going to start doing some thoracic circles here. So inhaling as the chest comes forward, exhaling as it rounds back. Finding a nice smooth pace here. Finding continuous breath. And reverse directions. Find your way back to center. Open your arms out wide, reach and stretch. And then draw your hands behind your back. Interlace your hands. Reach your palms down toward the floor behind you. Lift your chest, pull navel toward your spine. Slight back bend here. And then gently drop your chin toward your chest to find a stretch in the back of the neck. Return back to center, drawing your chin back up. Release the grip of your hands. We're going to remove any props below us and come down into easy pose, regular cross-legged seated position. We're going to place our hands on our knees and begin to do some solar plexus grinding. So finding some movement in wide circles, inhaling forward as we're coming to the front of the mat, exhaling backwards as we're rounding toward the back of the mat. Finding rhythm here. And reverse directions. Find your way back to center. And take your right hand, place it on your chest, right on your sternum, and take your left hand on top. Gently tuck your chin toward your chest, and then allow the back of your head to slowly drop backwards, opening up the fascia in the front of the neck. Being careful not to overextend the neck. Being careful not to overextend the neck and create any crunching in the back of the neck. Return yourself back to center. Take your left fingertips to the left side of your mat. Right arm reaches up overhead, crossing over, tapping left ear. Gently pull right ear to right shoulder, finding some flexibility in the left shoulder. The neck area. Draw your nose toward your right armpit. Take the hand at top to the back of your head and begin to draw your head toward your armpit. And then slowly walk your left fingertips toward the back side of your mat to deepen the stretch. Come back to center. Right hand comes down to your mat, pressing into your finger beds. Left arm reaches up overhead, tapping right ear, drawing left ear to left shoulder. Left nose comes to left armpit, placing left hand behind the head, drawing nose closer to the armpit, and then walking the right fingertips back to create a deeper stretch, really pressing into those finger beds of the right hand. Gently pulling with the left hand. Release your grip and slowly make your way back to center. We're gonna make our way into tabletop. We have our wrists stacked underneath our shoulders, knees stacked underneath our hips, making a perfect square shape. Wrapping biceps forward so that the front of our elbows are reaching toward the front of the mat. And we're going to inhale, wrap our tailbone upward as we draw the back of our head toward our tailbone. Exhale, rounding tailbone inward, drawing chin toward navel point. Finding smooth, rhythmic motions here, allowing the breath to move through us and generate the movement. Find neutral spine here and then begin to walk your hands forward. We're moving into puppy pose, finding our hands flat on the mat, lowering our chest down, keeping our knees underneath our hips here, so not quite a child's pose. Pressing into the palms of our hands and the finger beds, maybe dropping our chin toward the mat. If this feels like too much pressure on the shoulders, you can have one arm parallel to the front of your mat and just lower your forehead down, stretching one shoulder at a time. Finding deep, long inhales here. Begin to press into your hands and walk them back toward your body. Open your knees, bring your toes to touch, and lower your hips down to your heels, finding yourself in child's pose. Drop your forehead to the mat and allow yourself to sink in here for a moment. Press into your hands to lift your chest up. Take left arm and weave it underneath right to find a twist in our child's pose. You can press into the finger beds to keep that right arm lifted if it helps. Hand to remove that left arm. Take left arm out in front. Come onto the finger beds and draw right arm underneath left shoulder, finding a child's pose twist on the opposite side. Unwind that arm. Begin to press into your hands to lift your hips off your heels. Draw your knees together slightly. Lower back onto your heels. Begin to pull your left hip toward your left wrist, then your right hip to your right wrist, and then all the way back. Finding some circles in our child's pose, opening up the hips a little bit further. Inhaling as we come forward, exhaling as we roll back. And reverse directions. Hold in child's pose. Pull into your hands to lift your hips off of your heels once more. Begin to draw your knees together and tuck your toes under, and then walk your hands toward your body. Finding a little bit of a stretch, the bottom of the feet. From here, we're going to take our hands and bring our elbows forward, reaching our hands back toward the wall behind us. Elbows are beginning to straighten as we reach our hands back. And then flip our palms outward, lower our hands down. Inhale occurs as we press our hands back, drawing elbows forward and extending. Exhaling as we flip palms outward and lower arms down. One last time. Rock forward to come onto your fingertips, untuck your toes, and sit back onto your heels. From here, we're going to bring our pinkies together and our thumbs together, making a lotus shape. Inhaling raises our lotus up toward the sky. And exhale reaches arms back, hip hinge forward, engaging triceps. Inhale, arms come up into the lotus shape, rising up overhead. Exhale, arms reach back, engaging triceps, fingers strong. Inhale up. Exhale back. 2 more times. hold position here. And then plant your hands down. Walk your hands forward. Step right foot out in front, coming into a low lunge. Walk your left knee back. Pressing into right heel. Hands can be placed on the top of that right knee, and then we're going to lift ourselves up. Keeping our chest rising between our shoulders. Chin is slightly tucked. Pressing into that right heel to open up that left hip flexor. Keep your right hand planted on that right knee. Left hand comes down to the mat. Begin to press into your right hand to twist. Gaze is over right shoulder. Keeping left elbow straight. Walk that left hand forward just a bit. And begin to bend that left knee. Then take your right hand, reach back, and maybe taking a bind, grabbing the outer portion of that left foot, finding a twisted quadricep stretch. If you feel comfortable here and would like to accentuate the pose, you can allow that right knee to drop outward, sinking yourself a little bit deeper into that left hip. You're going to feel it more in the hip flexor now than the quadricep on the left side. Right leg hugs back toward the chest. Let go of that back leg gently and begin to walk your hands back to straighten out that right leg and slowly lower yourself down to the mat, coming into hero's pose, making sure there's no tension in that left knee. Left heel is on the outside of the left hip. If you feel any tension in the knee here and this is uncomfortable for you, feel free to plant that foot down as so. From here, we're going to press into our finger beds to lift our chest. On the inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to walk our fingers forward, hinging at the hips, coming into a forward fold over that right leg. Finding a stretch behind the right knee. Walk your fingertips toward your body and untuck. Shift your weight onto the right hip to release that left leg. And then take the left leg, cross it over the right. Left arm comes out behind, right arm reaches up on the inhale above head. Exhale, finding our twist. Binding right elbow on right outer thigh. Reaching our chin toward the left shoulder, but keeping it parallel with the mat below us. Unbind and return yourself back to center. Take that left leg and stack it over top of the right, so that way you're landing on the knife edge of that left foot. It's resting on the mat. We're going to press into our finger beds once again to lift our chest, and then walk our fingertips forward to find a deeper stretch behind the knee this time. The reinforced pressure of that left leg is going to deepen the stretch compared to the last one. Begin to walk your hands back toward you. Uncross that left leg. Wrap your fingers backwards, planting your hands behind your body. Fingers are pointing toward the back side of the mat. Keep our elbows engaged. Keep our triceps engaged here as we press into the heel of our hands, pressing into the heels of our feet, lifting our hips up, finding a reverse plank. Inhale and exhale, lower your hips down. We're going to find the same sequence on the opposite side. Bend both knees, draw both knees toward the left side, and then begin to find our way into that quadruped shape. Take left leg out in front, finding our lunge on the left side. Same cues, but making sure we're pulling with that outer hip to open up the hip toward the left, pressing into the top of our thigh to elongate the spine and take some of that pressure out of the low back. Keep your left hand planted, right hand comes down to the mat below you. Pressing into our left hand to deepen our twist, gaze is over that left shoulder. Right arm is strong, elbow is not locked but mostly straight. Begin to walk that right hand forward just a bit and bend that right leg. Take left arm to reach behind you. If it feels accessible, maybe go for the bind, grabbing the outer portion of that right foot, twisting, opening up the quadricep on the right side. If you'd like to accentuate the pose and find a little bit more flexibility in the right hip, allow that left knee to drop outward, coming onto the knife edge of your left foot, sinking a little bit deeper into the posture. Begin to hug that left knee back toward your body. Gently let go of your grip on that back leg. Frame the front foot. Slowly begin to straighten out that left leg to sit into half heroes. Being extra careful of that right knee, taking that movement slow to protect that right knee. If there's any tension in the right knee, feel free to take this modification. Inhale, pressing into our finger beds to lift our chest. Exhale, walking forward over that left leg. Bring your hands back toward your body. Right leg crosses over left. Right hand reaches behind the back. Inhale, left arm comes to rise. Exhale, bind left elbow, outer right thigh, twisting, gazing over right shoulder. Unbind and then stack right leg over top of left and begin to press into the finger beds to lift your chest up. I'll hip hinge over that left leg to find some length behind the back of the left knee. Walk your fingers back toward your body, uncross that right leg, having it out long next to the left, out in front. Take your hands back behind, and we'll take one last reverse plank, pressing into the heel of the hand, pressing into the heels of the feet to lift our hips up, squeezing the booty, keeping the spine nice and long here. Inhale, and exhale, lower it down. We're going to begin to shift into the yin portion of our practice. Take your blanket and roll it up into a cylinder shape. Your blanket perpendicular on your mat. And we're going to find ourselves in Sphinx pose. So the blanket's going to rest underneath our hip line. Our elbows will rest underneath our shoulders. And we're going to have our palms face down on our mat, pressing into our forearms to lift our chest, drawing our chin toward our neck just slightly to protect the back of the neck. Gaze is out in front or eyes can be closed. Really thinking about drawing the blades of the shoulder down the back, releasing any tension in the neck here. We're going to hold this pose for a few minutes. So allow yourself to get comfortable and sink in. Slowly begin to press into your hands to take your elbows out from underneath your shoulders. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and press back into a child's pose for a moment. Taking a second to counteract that pose. We're going to make our way into Wandering Dragon. Take your blanket and fold it up and place it on one side of your mat. We're going to have that back leg on the blanket. We're going to take the front leg out in front and begin to find ourselves in a wide lunge. The left toes are going to point out to a 45-degree angle, and then we're going to walk our hands toward the right side, finding a little bit of a twist here. We're going to be here for 2 minutes, so do your best to find a spot that feels comfortable, really opening up that left hip. Thinking about engaging those back muscles to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Close your eyes and just sink in. Begin to walk your hands back toward that right knee and draw your left knee back underneath your left hip. Remove the blanket from underneath your right leg and then place it underneath your left knee. We're going to take the pose on the opposite side. Right heel comes to a wide lunge. Right leg comes to a wide lunge to the right side of the mat. Allowing that right knee to stack over top of that left ankle. And then walking our hands toward the left side of the mat, finding a little bit of a twist here. Begin to walk your hands back toward that back knee and bring your right leg to meet the left. Our next pose, we're going to find ourselves in a wide-legged seat. Here you can take your blanket, make a square and then a diamond shape. We're going to need a block here. Coming to sit on our blanket, finding that wide-legged seat. And with this, you want your knees pointing upwards toward the ceiling as well as your toes. Take your block on the right inner thigh. Right elbow comes to place on the block. Rest your head in your hand. Take that left arm behind your head and allow it to just gently drape on the side of your head. You should feel this in the left side body. Begin to release that left arm. Press into the right elbow to lift ourselves back up. And we're going to move our block to the other side, finding the same shape. Left elbow comes to block. Side of the face rests in the hand. And the right arm drapes behind the head, the side of the head. Release that right arm. Press into your left elbow to push yourself up. And then take your block out in front. Rest your elbows on the block to find ourselves in a forward fold, allowing gravity to do its work here, just resting, allowing the breath to sink us into it. Begin to press into your elbows and your forearms to lift yourself back up. We're going to take one more posture before we move into Shavasana. Remove your blanket. Find your way onto your back. Have your block handy. Knees are bent. And we're going to press into our heels to lift our hips up. Take your block and place it directly under your sacrum. And then allow your legs to straighten and rest your palms face up. Subtle hip opening. Begin to bend your knees, plant your feet, press into your heels to lift your hips up, remove your block, and lower your hips down. Straighten your legs. Allow your toes to rock out toward the outsides of your mat. Completely relax the body. Sink into Shavasana. Close your eyes. Allowing yourself to be completely here, integrating the practice of balancing out warmth and coolness in the body, masculine and feminine within the body. Finding a balance, an equilibrium in your system. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes, bringing life back to the body. Roll your ankles and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Begin to bring life into your fingertips. Roll your wrists. Make tight fists. Squeeze and open. Extend your fingers wide. Hug your knees toward your chest. Wrap your arms around and give yourself a tight squeeze. And then gently roll to your left side, taking a moment here to let the body settle. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And as you're ready, come to meet me in easy pose to close our practice together. Hands come to prayer out in front of the chest. Draw your thumbs to your third eye. May there be peace in your thoughts. Thumbs come to lips. May there be peace in your words. Thumbs draw down to sternum. May there be peace in your hearts. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Any support would be fantastic in helping me to make future videos on meditation and yoga. Feel free to leave a comment in the box below if there are any suggestions for future classes or if you have any questions about this particular class. I look forward to hearing from you all. Thanks so much. Until next time.